Today we're going to do a review of the PARKSIDE Cordless Sabre Saw PSSA 20 LI-A1. It's a reciprocating saw, and as I just said, it's cordless. This came without the battery. I've got a new 4 amp hour battery. I'll try when I test it out. And what we'll do, I haven't opened the box yet, so I actually don't know what's in it. I'll open the box, we'll see what's inside the box, we'll look at the features of the saw, and then we'll test it. And what we're going to do, we're going to test it. I'll fit the 4 amp hour battery on it, and I've got a lot of logs and so on that need cutting up, small logs. And what I'll do, I'll cut as many of those I can before the battery gives out, and we'll time it. And I think that's probably the fairest way of testing a saw, quite honestly. So let's get to it. So what's in the case? Well, there's 3 things in the case. There's the machine itself, which seems sturdy and well made and reasonably well designed. I don't have any qualms about that. It does seem very robustly made, actually. There's a single saw blade, which is for wood and metal. And this blade is long enough to let you cut up to a 4-inch piece of timber or a 20mm bit of metal, according to the booklet, which is the 3rd thing that's in the box. And of course it comes in a nice carry case. Now, I was specifically looking for this tool. Unusually, it's not an impulse buy. I wanted something light enough and small enough to carry in a rucksack. I have my own personal uses for wanting to do that, and we won't go into it too far here. But on the whole, this machine is really simple and pretty obvious. First of all, you fit the battery at the back end here. This is a 2 amp hour battery. It takes batteries from the 20 volt range, the 20 volt PARKSIDE range, and certainly with a 20 volt battery on it, it's quite, light and manageable. At this end there's a trigger here, and that won't work. And the reason it won't work is because there's a safety button, which is here. And you press that in. You can do it from both sides. So on this side I'm doing it with my thumb. The trigger is a speed control, so I find trigger speed controls a bit problematical. For the most part, you only use the slower speed just to get yourself started. At the other end, there's this lever here. You have your stop end here, your what do they call it, a foot plate. And when you're cutting with a sabre saw, because of this motion like this, you push the plate against whatever you're cutting. It would be down here, and that holds the whole thing rigid. If you don't do that, the whole thing will start doing this, and you lose power. You don't get any benefit from the power. And this lever on this side, if you release it, actually adjusts this plate so that you can adjust the depth of cut. And I suppose that would be useful if you're cutting through a board, going down a wall or something like that. And on the other side of the machine, there's another red lever, and that adjusts the pendulum movement. So these blades can cut in a dead sort of horizontal way for very smooth cutting, or it can have a pendulum action. It'll do this, okay, to make the cut more aggressive. Now, the only issue I have with that is that it says set to 0 for no pendulum, and then it's graduated, so you can graduate it up, more pendulum cut or less. Set to 0 and there's no pendulum cut. My issue is that I can't find any symbol that says 0, and there's nothing in the book of words that tells you which position is 0 and which is on full pendulum cut. but it's going to be easy enough to work out once I actually start cutting. The blade that comes with it, as I say, is a wood and metal blade. And one of the really nice features about these saws is the quick release. In fact, what I ought to do is take the battery off when you're changing blades on these things. Even though there's got the trigger lock, just be careful. All you do is twist the release switch on the head, you push the saw blade in and let go, and that's it fitted. And that's as easy as it gets. And again, what I like about this is that I'll be able to, you know, put this in a rucksack, take the blade off, so that the machine isn't longer than it needs to be when you're carrying it. I did have a look at the cordless chainsaw, which was my other option, but that's a much longer machine and you obviously can't easily and quickly dismount the blade. So that's why I've opted for this. So what we'll do now, we're going to use this blade that came with it, and I'm going to cut as much wood as I can using a 4 amp hour battery, a brand new 4 amp hour battery, fully charged. You can see that by pressing the, I can show you, I press the button on the side, can you see it's fully charged? Ta-da! So I'll set up outside, start cutting and see how we get on. I'm actually not making any guesses as to how many cuts this will do or how long it'll cut for. I don't think how many cuts is particularly helpful because that would depend on the hardness of the wood and how dry it is and how green it is and what have you. But I'm not making any predictions. I've been fooled before. So join me outside and I'll start cutting. Right, so I set the timer on my phone and let's start cutting. Hollywood. Other setting. That's pretty tough wood. Let's have a word for it. And the battery is now on the red, but I said I'd keep going until it stopped, so let's carry on. Right, that's it, no more, finished. Let me just check the time. 38 minutes of cutting on one 4 amp hour battery. I'll show you the log pile, and that's what it cut. Astonishing. I did say that I wouldn't make a guess at how long that would cut for, but I don't think I would have guessed 38 minutes. And as I say, there's all sorts in here. Big wood, small wood, dry wood, wet wood. Quite impressive, and some of these pieces are quite big. So there we go, 38 minutes. Let's go back in the workshop and talk about it. So there we are, the Parkside Cordless Sabre Saw. 38 minutes of cutting on a 4 amp hour battery, and I probably pushed the battery a little further than I should have done. You normally should stop these when they're showing red on the indicator, but I pushed a little bit further than that, but not much. But I think 38 minutes of cutting is actually a lot more than I expected. I said I've been fooled by these cordless tools before, and this has done that admirably. Do I like the tool? Yes, I really like it. I'm pleased I bought it. The blade that came with it is definitely a good blade. I mean, it cut through that wood easily, and it's still cutting it. There's a lot of life left in that. I'm also pretty confident, certain actually, that you can buy longer blades, wood cutting blades, very rough cutting cutting blades from Screwfix, you know, a couple of inches longer than these. And I'm absolutely confident that this tool will handle those, you know, perfectly well, especially if all you're doing is the odd job, because that's what any cordless tool is about really, apart from drills. And do I like it? Yes, I think it's great. I'm well pleased I bought it. This cost £25, something like that. The battery cost another 25 quid, so it's a 50 quid tool, unless you already have a 4 amp hour battery. I think it's really, really good value for money and a really useful tool to have. I mean, you can imagine taking this down, you know, an allotment or a beach hut, or you know, out into an orchard if you want to do some pruning, and it'll work for 38 minutes, which is quite a lot of cutting. You saw the wood pile there. I was starting to think I was going to run out of wood. You do have to, you know, if you're doing something like that, you have to try and get the angles right and so on to hold the wood. Cutting circular wood is always going to be an issue unless it's attached to a tree, which is no problem at all. So there you are, the Parkside Cordless Sabre Saw. I think it's pretty good. Now I know that in the past I've given good reviews to these tools that I review, and I sometimes sound like a Parkside salesman, but I assure you I'm not. I don't have any contact with Lidl's or Aldi's or anybody like that. So I'm just you know, showing it as I find it. So I hope you find this useful. How it compares, for instance, to the cordless chainsaw, I wouldn't like to say. But my need, specifically, as I say, is to carry this in a rucksack. And because of that, I think this is a really great choice. I hope this helps you out. If you did enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more reviews, honest reviews, I don't give dishonest reviews, please subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.